Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे निताय गौरांग भगवान की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, chapter 1st, text 8, chapter entitled The Curse upon the Yadu Dynasty. Sri Rajo Vacha Brahmanyana Vadanyanam Nityam Pridhopasevinam विप्रसापा कथम अभूद वृष्णीनां कृष्णा चेतसाम। श्रीराजोवाच ब्रह्मण्यानं वदन्यानं नित्यं वृद्धोपसेविना विप्रसापा कथम अभूद वृष्णीनां कृष्णा चेतसाम। श्रीराजोवाच ब्रह्मण्यानं वदन्यानं नित्यं वृद्धोपसेविना विप्रसापा कथम आभूद वृष्णीनां कृष्णा चेतसाम। श्रीराजोवाच ब्रह्मण्या वदान्यानां नित्यं वृद्धोपसेविना नित्यं कथमाभूत् वृष्णीनां कृष्णचेतसाम्। श्रीराजोवाच नित्यं वृद्धोपसेविना विप्रसापा कथमाभूत् वृष्णीनां कृष्णचेतसाम्। श्रीराजोवाच ब्रह्मण्यानां वदान्यानां नित्यं वृद्धोपसेविना विप्रसापा कथमाभूत् वृष्णीनां कृष्णचेतसाम्। माताजी। श्रीराजोवाच ब्रह्मण्यानां वदन्यानां नित्यं वृद्धोपसेविना विप्रसापा कथमाभूत् वृष्णीनां कृष्णचेतसाम्। Word to word meaning, translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Prabhupada disciples ki. Sri Rajo Vacha, the king said, Brahmanyanam, of them who were respectful to the Brahmanas. Vadanyanam, charitable. Nityam, always. Vridha upasevinam, engaged in serving elders. Viprasapa, the Brahmanas curse. Katham, how. Abhut, did it come about? Vrishninam, of the Vrishnis. Krishna Chetasam, whose minds were totally absorbed in thoughts of Lord Krishna. Translation. King Parikshit inquired, how could the Brahmanas curse the Vrishnis, who were always respectful to the Brahmanas, charitable, and inclined to serve senior and exalted personalities, and whose minds were always fully absorbed in thought of Lord Krishna. Purport. Brahmanas generally become angry at persons who disrespect the Brahmanical class, who are uncharitable, and who decline to serve senior, respectable personalities. The Vrishnis, however, were not like that, and thus they are described here by King Parikshit as Brahmanyanam, or sincere followers of Brahmanical culture. Further, even if the Brahmanas became angry, why would they curse members of Krishna's own family? Since the Brahmanas were well learned, they must have known that it is offensive to oppose personal associates of the Supreme Lord. The Yadu dynasty is specifically described here as Vrishni Nam and Krishna Chetasam. In other words, they were Lord Krishna's own men, and they were always absorbed in thinking of Krishna. Therefore, even if somehow or other the Brahmanas had cursed them, how could that curse had any effect? These are the questions of Parikshit Maharaj. Although the Vrishnis are described in this verse as Krishna Chetasam, always absorbed in thinking of Krishna, it is clearly indicated that Krishna desired that the Brahmanas become angry and curse the Yadu dynasty. The Supreme Lord desired to remove his personal dynasty from the earth, and therefore uncustomary offensive behavior was exhibited by the young boys of Krishna's own family. It is to be understood from this incident that when a man displays envy and ridicule of devotees of Vishnu, his Brahmanyata or high spiritual qualifications along with his reverence for Sri Krishna are all destroyed. Contempt and ridicule directed toward respectable persons and true Brahmanas vanquish all good qualities. If there is a break in etiquette towards his devotees, the Supreme Lord will become ill-disposed even to his own relatives and friends, and thus arrange to destroy those who oppose his devotees. If foolish persons in the guise of members of Krishna's personal family express enmity towards Vaishnavas, such offenders cannot properly be called offspring of Lord Krishna's dynasty. That is the supreme quality of the personality of Godhead. Let us say the prayers together. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Dalita Shri Vishakhanvitamascha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunavadi Paschat Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaura Rise Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यं जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुवैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So I seek blessings at the lotus feet of all the devotees so that I can say something for the glorification of Krishna Nitai Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada, all the Vaishnava Acharyas, and for my personal purification. So we have been reading this particular chapter. The chapter's name itself is The Curse Upon the Yadu Dynasty. So the chapter name itself is very bewildering, that how can Yadu Dynasty, so those who are actually personal associates of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is personally protecting them. They are able to associate with Krishna, participate in Krishna so many pastimes, his Leela. So how can curse be upon them? So that is why it is very difficult to understand scriptures if we try to understand it with our own mind and senses, with our material vision. If by our own effort, if we try to understand scriptures, then it is a great possibility that we will get confused, we will get misled, and we will derive some different meanings, a material meaning, and in that way many times people also lose faith upon Krishna. They are not able to believe scriptures, they start doubting about the Supreme Lord. So that happens if without any proper guidance, if you are understanding or if you are trying to understand scriptures. So this is happening in Gita also. We see that when Arjuna is there in the middle of the battlefield, Kaurava's army is there, Pandava's army is there, and he is in the middle. Then when he sees the Kaurava's army, then what happens? That he is completely confused. And he gives so many reasons, like initially he has so many thought process, so many reasons he gives, that what is the purpose of fighting this war. Suppose that even if I win this war, Krishna Nitai Gauranga Bhagavan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So he thinks that even if he wins the war, then what is the use of winning this war? Because there will be no scope of enjoyment, because all my relatives, all my friends, all my cousin brothers, everyone is going to get killed. So what is the use of fighting? Then he has some kind of godly concept, so he has false compassion also. Then he gives so many reasons that killing incurs sinful reactions. Then he says that there will be destruction of family dynasty, all the women will get exploited by people, there will be no one to take care of children, elderly people. So again and again he gives so many different reasons, and his own understanding he has that why I should not be fighting the war. But in spite of speaking all these things, he is still dissatisfied, he is still confused, he does not understand that whatever he is thinking is right or wrong. So at that moment what he does is that he approaches Krishna and he starts saying that karpanya dosha pahato shobhava, that is because of my weakness of my heart, what is happening, samuda cheta, that I am completely bewildered, I am completely confused. So that is what Arjuna is saying, because he understands that he is not able to take the right decision. So at that time what he does, he surrenders to Krishna. Sisyaste aham sadi mam tvam, and the last and the most important thing he uses is papannam, that is surrender. It's not just he said that you become my teacher, like these days in material world people accept teacher for some material thing, but they will not surrender to teacher. But here Arjuna is using the word surrender, because when we accept a guru, then after that whatever our guru, our spiritual guide is saying, then we have to have complete faith in their guidelines, in their instructions, and we have to completely surrender to them, surrender to whatever they are expecting from us. So in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's instruction, Arjuna starts, Arjuna first surrenders, then Krishna's instruction begins. Then towards the conclusion also the word surrender is there. When Krishna says Sarv dharman parityajya mamekam saranam braj, that you give up everything, give up all religion, give up all your wrong understanding, false conception, and what you do, just surrender unto me. So it starts with surrender, ends with surrender. The most important thing is that we have to surrender to Krishna. So that is what here we are reading in Bhagavatam also. When we study, then we see that Parikshit Maharaj is now completely surrendered to Sukdev Goswami, and that is why whatever doubt, whatever question is there, so he is trying to get it clarified from Parikshit Maharaj. He is not just keeping it within himself, all the doubt, and through Parikshit Maharaj, because when we read we also get confused all these past times, but through by reading these scriptures our doubts also get clarified. And these scriptures, like in Gita also, Krishna says that Rahasyam, this Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna says there is Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, these are like Rahasyam, that is full of transcendental mystery. And very, on our own, it will be difficult to understand. And in Gita, like Krishna 2 times uses, like in 4.3 also he says that it is like Rahasyam, and says Uttamam, it is like topmost knowledge. Again in 9.2 when he says that Raj Vidya, that is king of all knowledge, and Raj Guhyam, that is what? It is full of transcendental mystery. So whatever knowledge which he is saying to Arjuna, it is not like normal, it cannot be understood by like normal interpretation just by reading book. If we try to understand, not easy to understand. And then Krishna says that is what? It is pavitram. So it is full of like, it is completely pure. And again he says idam uttamam, that is also, it is again, Krishna is saying it is like topmost. And then last line Krishna says susukham, that when we study Bhagavad Gita, when we read Bhagavad Gita, when we understand Bhagavad Gita, then what happens, that our life becomes very joyful, and in a very blissful way what we do, we lead our life, or we practice our spiritual life. And it is said that this kartum avyayam, that it is not temporary, it is like eternally which is performed. So whatever knowledge which we are getting through the scriptures, so this has like, when we understand its import, its meaning, the hidden meaning which is there, when we start understanding it, then actually it helps us to understand that what actually the Supreme Lord is trying to say. And if we understand it, if we implement it, if we start following these guidelines, then what is going to happen? Our life is also going to become joyful. And it's not like temporary happiness or temporary joy we are going to get, it's like everlasting. Forever this joy we are going to get in our life. So, and in Bhagavatam also, this Bhagavatam is called Puranam Amalam, that is like completely pure. So why it is completely pure? Because here we never find anywhere it is mentioned that it is that by reading Srimad Bhagavatam you can get that much wealth, like dharma, arth, kama, moksha. It does not talk about anything about that. That if you perform this kind of religious activity, because generally we see that people perform religious activity many times for some material motive, for material purpose. People want something, they want wealth, they want some something material, name, fame, money, like we say no, that people have like puja la pratishtha, all these things people look for. That is why people perform. But in Bhagavatam it is completely pure. It talks about what? Pure devotional service. That why it is important, and how very much important it is that we should be always performing pure devotional service. So here also when we start reading this chapter, so we have many questions that why all these things are happening. And when we start understanding it, when we start reading it, then we understand that the purpose of all these things is to help us understand the importance of practicing pure devotional service to Lord Krishna. So these books, these scriptures the Lord has given us, that is like a law book or guide book for all of us. Like yesterday there was Republic Day. So Republic Day means that on that day the Constitution of India came into force, and we have to follow or abide by the Constitution of India. But this law, if we say that Krishna has given this law 5,000 years back, like when Gita Krishna spoke, almost at least in this age Kali Yuga, it was spoken long years back, millions of years back. But at least we can say recently Krishna spoke to Arjun. There is also a law book for entire humanity. That if we start following whatever Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, then our life is also going to become joyful. And whatever suffering, whatever miseries, whatever anxieties are there, that is going to just simply disappear if we start practicing it, if we start following it. So Prabhupada also, if we read Prabhupada's life, So Prabhupada, throughout his life, he tried his best. Like he was traveling all over the world, going to different continents, different countries, meeting with different people. And his purpose was that people become God conscious. People start understanding that what is the importance of this human form of life, how it is important that we keep God in the center. And in that way, he was not like only just saying that only for Hindus or only to his followers only. He was saying that Prabhupada had such a vision that he wanted to change the entire world. So there is one letter also which Prabhupada has written to the Pope of Vatican City. So in that letter Prabhupada had written that he had introduced himself that I am this we have started ISKCON, and Prabhupada was saying that we should have a meeting, and in that meeting we should be discussing that how the human society, human civilization is completely completely there is a downfall is there, degradation is there, all these things are there, and how it is important that people understand the importance of God consciousness. And then Prabhupada is saying that we all should be coming together, that you are there, you are the spiritual leader, I am there, and everyone should come together and we should chalk out a strategy, we should make a plan, so that when people are becoming very materialistic, and because of this materialism people are going into wrong direction and indulging in so much sinful activities, this is the reason that people are suffering. And although Prabhupada is writing a letter to the Pope, and there he mentions that what is the importance of giving up this meat eating, gambling, intoxication, everything Prabhupada is writing, about illicit sex, everything Prabhupada is writing. So if you see Prabhupada's life, so Prabhupada never compromises with any principle. Prabhupada speaks as it is. So in that letter Prabhupada has written, so I will read one paragraph. So there Prabhupada, he writes about India also, that how India once, all the Brahmanical culture were there, so much happiness was there in India. We talk about Ram Raj, during the time of Lord Ram, how the life was, even the animals felt safe and protected during the time of Lord Ram. During the time of Yudhishthir Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, there was no suffering. Everyone is happy, everyone was very peaceful. But this suffering happened when people started discarding the scriptures, and Prabhupada mentions it. So there is a letter which Prabhupada has written to Pope. You can understand what is Prabhupada's vision, that how Prabhupada wanted to transform the world for good. So Prabhupada writes, in India, which was once the land of religion and Brahmanical culture, things have deteriorated to such an extent that a man in a higher caste is recognized simply by putting a piece of thread on his body as a sign of sanctity. We know that caste Brahmanas that Prabhupada used to oppose. Then Prabhupada further writes, the so-called Swamis are cheating the public because the public wants to be cheated by some cheap method of self-realization. And today, if someone has no sufficient money, it is very hard for him to get justice from the court. And if anyone can simply bluff by so-called advancement of knowledge, he is offered the doctorate degree. If a man is falsely proud, he is accepted as civilized. By frustration, and then Prabhupada writes that why people are becoming this communist or hippies. And Prabhupada writes that by frustration, people are gradually becoming communist and hippies, and the guardians of society must now take up the situation very seriously without further delay. So Prabhupada was understanding that we should immediately take some corrective measures. And we see, Prabhupada says that there are many cheap methods of self-realization people have. Like some Swamis are there. So we see all over it is so popular, so famous, here what Prabhupada has taught us, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us, that when we discuss, when we talk about that, we talk about only pure thing. So we do not hear, but sometimes people are not very much attracted to this because people have some material motive. So suppose that in our temple ISKCON, some Babaji comes and they show some miracle. Immediately the temple hall will be flooded with people. कुछ अगर दिखाने लगेंगे, हाथ से पैसा गिर रहा है, कुछ गिर रहा है. So many times we see that those people are very famous, like spiritual leaders. So they give some kind of allurements to people. So many times their followers will come and they will say that I was suffering, my business was not going properly, but I came and you gave me some mantra, some mala, now I have a very nice business is there. Then everyone will say loudly, will chant that whoever God they are chanting, they will chant their name, they will glorify that guru. Someone will come, I was not getting job, my daughter was not getting married. All these things people have. And as soon as they say and they come, and that guru that become very famous. But Prabhupada, we see Prabhupada did just opposite. Because Bhagavad Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said just opposite. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. It is completely opposite. And when Prabhupada was going, so there are many genuine people will get attracted to Prabhupada's teaching, who are very genuine, who understand that what actually Prabhupada is trying to say, that is good for us, because everything which is there material, that is going to go away one day. So if we understand, if we have that understanding, so in that way people understand Prabhupada's like purity or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's like message, which is going to give us ultimate benefit. And if we are not and if you see that if people who are like following the scriptures, they are actually experiencing this in their personal life also. Like I was hearing that people are saying that in this Mahakumbh, which is there in Prayagraj, so we see there are so many chaos, so many war is there, turbulence is there. So there is war between Russia and Ukraine. But in Mahakumbh there are devotees. They are from Russia also, they are Ukraine also, and their tent is side by side. When Russia tent is there, Ukraine tent is there, and they both are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Wow. So can it be possible anywhere? And there are like we had heard like scenario also that sometimes these people from some diplomats from Russia and Ukraine, they had met somewhere and they had physically assaulted each other because there were so much you can say anger was there amongst each other. But here we see devotees, so they understand the truth, so they come together. So actually what Prabhupada said that we can have universal brotherhood only when we accept Krishna as our Supreme Father. So this is not just theoretical thing, we are actually seeing this is actually happening. So this is what Prabhupada was trying to say when Prabhupada was writing letter to Pope, or he was meeting so many spiritual leaders, political leaders. So only purpose was that we also know when Prabhupada met the Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, so his purpose was the same, that how this Brahmanical, when we say Brahmanical culture, it's not the caste Brahmana that Prabhupada is talking about. Brahmanical culture means one who is following whatever is there in the scriptures. Because in scripture, Krishna has very clearly said that if you are not following the guidelines of the scriptures, yah sastra vidhi musrija vartate kama karata na sa siddhim abapnoti na sukham na param gatim. Neither you are going to get perfection, nor you are going to get na siddhim na param gatim, nor you are going to get any kind of supreme destination. So very clearly Krishna has emphasized, highlighted these important things. This is what we should understand, that this is why these scriptures are there and we have to understand it. Now when we read these scriptures and when we understand it, so we have doubts like when we read this particular section, when Yadu dynasty is being cursed, so we may have a question that was it difficult for Krishna to protect his own devotees? Because in Vrindavan from the age, you can say immediately Krishna started protecting all the Brajvasis. From Putna to so many demons came, one by one demons were coming, Krishna was protecting. In Dwarka also Krishna protected, he constructed in Mathura Krishna protected them. In Dwarka he built a very beautiful city for all the residents of Mathura. So Krishna could have easily done it, but here when we study the commentary, then we start understanding that it was the desire of Krishna that now his pastime is completed, he has completed, now the purpose, whatever the reason that he had appeared on this planet Earth, so that pastime, it should be now, he should disappear, it should not manifest anymore in this world. So that is what Krishna is teaching. So one important lesson Krishna is teaching is that two lessons, what we can say, there are so many lessons. One is that because any pastime is Krishna performs, so there are important lessons which we also learn. So what is the importance, that how we should be behaving with the devotees, so that is extremely important. So here we see that when this all the young Yadus, they came and they started, they thought that they are making fun or they are like joking with the Brahmana, joking with the devotees. So how much risky or dangerous it is, like when we are dealing with the devotees, senior devotees, and how much we should be cautious, like what kind of word we should be using, how much we should be careful with our dealing, when we are dealing with devotees. So in Gita also, like as I said, in Bhagavatam, Krishna has very clearly given all the guidelines. If we just have to understand it, follow it. So in Gita only Krishna has very clearly said that what kind of the speech should be, that anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyam hitam. Very clearly Krishna says that the word which we are using, that should never agitate any other person. Anudvega karam vakyam. It should be satyam, true, it is truthful. It is very nice to be truthful, but it is not just important to be truthful. It should also be very pleasing to the person. When the person is hearing, it should be very pleasing, and it should be very hitam. That the word should also be very much beneficial to the people who are hearing these words. So if we are understanding like what is Krishna is expecting from us, then it becomes very easy for us to lead our life, and we can save ourselves from all this kind of miseries which we experience in this world. Because many things happens because, as it is said, no, that tongue does not have any bone, but tongue can help us to break all our bones. Because what kind of words which we speak, that is going to create lots of trouble for us. So we have to be very much careful when we are speaking anything. There is famous quote also, no, that watch your thought, it becomes your words. Watch your words, it becomes your action. Watch your action, it becomes your habit. Watch your habit, it becomes your character. And watch your character, it finally becomes our destiny. So everything becomes a small thought which comes to our mind. That is said, no, it is nipping in the bud. Immediately anything, small things come, it is better that immediately we should try to immediately get rid of it. Because if you try to sustain it or just leave it as it is, then immediately, slowly it is going to what happen? It is going to grow. It is going to grow, become big, and immediately, initially it is there inside us, but slowly it is going to come outside also. So that is why it is we should be very much careful that how we should be dealing with others. Another important thing, Krishna, we understand that he is teaching us that it is the world where we are living, this world is not permanent. Whenever Krishna also comes, Krishna, if we see, the Krishna does not much interfere with the material laws, the material nature. Sometimes, like when there are so many calamities are there, then Krishna appears and he eliminates all these people who are committing so many sins and all. But after that, whatever the material laws it goes, so he allows it to go in the way it functions. The material world, Krishna also comes, so does not stay here permanently. At least to us, he is not visible. He is not performing Leela and all. But he is present in our heart. Everywhere he is present. But he is not like for material vision the way he was there 5,000 years ago in Vrindavan, Mathura, Dwarka. He is performing pastime. So he is not there right now like that. And he says that whatever you may be your position, your designation, so all the yadus, so they were extremely powerful. So generally in this world, like people have one problem is that when people try to enjoy also, so in spite of having everything, there is always a tinge of fear in the heart. People are always fearful. But yadus, they had Krishna with them, so they were also fearless completely. So they did not have any fear also. They had all the opulence, all the enjoyment facility was there. So because of that also, Krishna was thinking that they are going to create lots of trouble in future. So Krishna wanted to eliminate them, and through that he wanted to teach us that no matter how much powerful you are, how much successful you are, how much strength you might be having, this world is not a place to live permanently. This world, one day everyone, whether I am there, you are there, anyone is there, everyone has to say goodbye one day to this material world. So anything which we see in this world, so everything is temporary. Like once I saw one video, there was a very old man, maybe in 80 plus, and his wife was there. So his wife was lying on the deathbed. She was also like very old, 80s only. And this old man, and I think it was a hospice or maybe hospital. So this old man was crying because maybe the doctor might have said that your wife is not going to live for a long period of time. And the old man, the tears was coming from his eyes. And his wife also, so she was trying to say something, but after some time, like that wife also started crying. So both old man and the wife both are crying, and wife is lying on the deathbed. So we talk about happiness here, that we can accumulate this thing, we can have some happiness, all these things we can talk about. But then Krishna says that dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Dukkhalayam, because it is ashashvatam. It is not temporary. It is not permanent, it is temporary. So one day, whatever we may be having or not having, it is immaterial. Everything has to give up this physical body. So this is what we understand when we study these scriptures, these important lessons we are getting. And we see that in this world, whatever position, power is there, so that remains with a person for how long? Just for a short period of time it is there. And after that, everything in this world is taken away. So every day we see so many examples are there. For example, this US presidential election. Just few days back, who was the president? He was Biden. So whatever word he spoke or whatever decision he made, so it used to make international headline. But today he is no one. Like he may speak many things, but no one will be much interested in whatever he is going to say. So some other president has come, so he is also going to stay for some period of time. He will also go away. So all this position, all this power, so what we understand is that is going to remain for only a short period of time. Only just limited period of time it is going to remain, and then finally it is going to go away. So when it is going to go away, so the one question, like when we study this pastime also, so one question which we may be having, that curse on Yadu dynasty, so whether Krishna did not want Yadu dynasty to be there on this earth, so where did they go? One question will be there, where did they go? Did they completely disappear? So that time when we have this question, when we have this inquiry, then we start understanding, no, it's not that when the body gets destroyed, so it is the end of everything. In Gita also, when Krishna begins giving instruction, the first instruction what he talks about is that he talks about the eternity of the soul. So immediately that question comes to our mind that Yadu dynasty, where did they go? They returned back to the spiritual world. Or those who were like as demigod they had appeared, they again went to and took their position. Similarly in Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna talks about that all these kings, all you, me, everyone, they have been existing in past also, present also, and future also, they are going to exist. So we understand that this soul is eternal, and then Krishna says that once you come, yad gatva invartad dham paramam. So whenever you return back to the spiritual world, so what is going to happen? You are going to be there forever, and in this world you are never going to come again. So this Krishna is teaching, and how it becomes possible when we start practicing devotion to Krishna, when we get attached to Krishna, and when we most importantly understand that how a devotee should be leading their life and how a devotee should be dealing with others. So one of the important lessons which we learn here is that, as in this verse when we are discussing about in the last paragraph of this verse, or purport of this particular section, so it talks about the importance of not offending the devotees. So it talks about that it is said that it is to be understood that from this incident that when a man displays envy and ridicule of devotees of Vishnu, his Brahmanyata or high spiritual qualifications along with his reverence for Sri Krishna are all destroyed. So it is very much important that how we are dealing with the devotees, because we might be chanting 16 or 64 rounds, it does not matter, but if as soon as we start behaving in a very irrational way or very wrongly with the devotees, offending the devotees, so immediately whatever we have accumulated, like whatever spiritual life we have performed, so as in Chaitanya Charitamrita we talk about that mad elephant. That mad elephant destroys everything, so it will destroy everything. And as we say that there are examples also, it's not that in scriptures when we talk about it's just theoretical, something theory is mentioned, there are examples also, and there are like so many examples are there. Like one example is about this Ramchandra Khan, that how he tried to offend Haridas Thakur, because he became very envious of Haridas Thakur. So first of all he tried to destroy the character of Haridas Thakur by sending the prostitute. But after that Haridas Thakur, we know that pastime that how Haridas Thakur transformed the life of prostitute. After then when Nityanand Prabhu came, then what happened, that Ramchandra Khan, he again disrespected Nityanand Prabhu. When he came, he just said that he was inside his quarter and he did not even come out to receive Nityanand Prabhu. And the place where Nityanand Prabhu was sitting, that Durga Mandap, so what he did, he dug that place and he cleaned with cow dung. He thought that I am going to purify that place. But after that what happened? Nityanand Prabhu became angry and he left that place. And then what happened? All these people came, all these Javanas and everyone, that Milachas, that Muslim rulers came. In the same place where he had tried to purify using cow dung, what happened? It is mentioned that they killed the cow and prepared cow meat. And after that because this Ramchandra Khan, so he was not giving proper tax and all, everything was not giving, so he was arrested, his family was arrested, wife, children, everyone was arrested. And not just he suffered because of that, entire village suffered because of that. And everything how it started, because he first he started offending Haridas Thakur, then he offended Nityanand Prabhu. This is how it happened. And again other example which is mentioned about Gopal Chakravarti, right? So he was a Brahmana, and again when Haridas Thakur, because he is a pure soul, so when he was speaking about the glories of holy name, then he became, because he was a Brahmana, so he had some superiority complex also, that I am a Brahmana, and he was young also, so he started offending Haridas Thakur. And then, but Haridas Thakur was not offended, even in case of this, when he sent prostitute also, so Haridas Thakur was not offended. So we see that devotees are not offended, but Lord takes that offense very seriously. And to Gopal Chakravarti what happened? Because it is mentioned that also within 3 days, first of all his nose fell down. He was very beautiful, his complexion, but his nose fell down. Then because he was infected by leprosy, so all his feet, all his toe and all, everything started getting affected by leprosy. All the limbs of his body started getting, like we know how it happens in leprosy. So everything completely he became very ugly and all. So this is also that Gopal Chakravarti, so because of committing offense, so what happened to him. And the other examples are there. About Saubari Muni also we see that how he offended that Garuda, and then again he fell down. Such a exalted rishi. We cannot think that it's not the first time he might have seen two fishes coming together. Many times he might have seen it, but this time because he had offended, so all this, he developed material vision, and he got got attracted by some material things and became an ordinary householder. He started doing sense enjoyment and all. So this is what we see, that we might be practicing spiritual life, but from these pastimes we see that even Yadus, so even Krishna also is respecting that, although its pastime is enacted, that Brahmanas knew that Krishna wanted that all these Yadu dynasties to disappear from this material world. But in spite of that, one important lesson we understand is that how much it is important that we should not be offending the devotees. What to talk about devotees, we should not be offending even any living entity. Like we hear about Prabhupada, that Prabhupada, Prabhupada used very strong words also when Prabhupada was preaching. But when Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, he was performing his, during the final days when he was performing his pastime, then when his god brothers used to come to meet him, then Prabhupada used to say that I have committed offenses because I have used words like rascals also I have used and all. So all this Prabhupada is saying, but all his god brothers are saying that no, Prabhupada, you have never said anything like that. And whatever you have said, that is trying to establish a principle. You had done so many things for Krishna, for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission also. And Prabhupada is saying that I became puffed up. Prabhupada is teaching us through his example that I became puffed up because I was able to spread Krishna consciousness. I got so much glory, I got so much wealth. But all the god brothers are saying, no, you have not done it. You have, like whatever you have received now, that is only by the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so much pleased, so much happy by the way you are distributing this message of Krishna all over the world. That is what Krishna is right now bestowing his mercy upon you. So we see from Prabhupada's example, such an exalted personality, but through his pastime he is teaching us that how much humility we should be having, that we should always be maintaining a very humble approach, and we should never be offending any devotee. So there was one reporter from Newsweek. So he had come to ask Prabhupada some question he was asking. So we see Prabhupada's humility. So many times we see that many thing is there manifested by Krishna only. So everything Prabhupada says, Prabhupada is not willing to say that I have seen Krishna. And the reporter is again and again asking, and ultimately Prabhupada says that yes, I saw Krishna when I was first 4 years old. This Prabhupada is saying. So when again and again he is being forced to say, then Prabhupada is saying. So this we see that how devotees are maintaining humility, and this is a lesson what we learn also. That unless until we have a humble heart, we are a devotee of Krishna, we are practicing devotional life as per the guidelines of Krishna. So it will become very challenging also in our life, but we follow the scriptures as it is, follow the guidelines of Krishna, Prabhupada, whatever he has given us, then our life will also become successful, and we can also get the mercy of Krishna, we can also get the blessing of Srila Prabhupada. So these are what the lessons which we learned from this important section of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is what I understood. So if I committed any mistake, so please forgive me. We can conclude now. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.